What up, chess players and my friends? Today the challenge is knight and bishop checkmate, how to do it as quick as possible. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, I've already seen how to do it, I'm just trying to memorize the strategy. So I'm here to explain it just to understand it better. The key move here to start with is knight to b3 from this position, right? Then we're gonna look at another example. So knight to b3 simply is there to stop the king from moving to a5, right? We want to corner the king, so you got to control the key squares. Now here the key move is bishop to b5, because think about it, the king's attacking these squares, and we want to corner the king. Bishop to b5, yeah, the king went back to b6, and now, remember, the knight's attacking a5 and c5, so you play bishop to c6. The king has to move on the edge. That's how we want to do it. Now the knight keeps controlling this square. That's very important, so we kind of need to waste the move. King to c7. The king is forced to go up. No other moves available. And now I am struggling to remember how to continue. I think knight c5 looks logical. Actually, that's stalemate. That's stalemate. So now we're going to have to go on. What could be the move here? Now I think here actually the move is knight a5, because the king goes down, and then we can play knight b7. And we're forcing the king to go up again. Okay, so now it's about controlling the squares. So bishop to b5 seems to be the right move, because the king is forced to go to the corner. Yes, mate in 3 now. So, okay, the pattern to remember is that we need to checkmate with the bishop. So we will be checking the king in a7 with the knight, but not from c6, but rather from c8. So knight d6, and now check from c8. King goes up, and now this is mate. So, okay, this is the second example. Here, knight c4 is the key move to start, right? And now king up. The reason is that the bishop's attacking this square, this knight's attacking this square. So even if the king, see, after king e5, the king goes to d6, but even if he had gone to c7, he wouldn't have been able to go to b6 because of the knight, and these light squares because of the bishop. So it's all about, there's very few checks to make, rather more like controlling squares and pushing the king to the edge. Now here, the best move will be knight to b6, most likely, because it stops the king from going this side, and we're pushing him to go to the edge. So now king f6 seems obvious, and when the king, obviously the king, well, he had to go here. Now, we have to make a move that forces white, that forces black to reach this side of the board. So the key move is bishop to c4. So let's continue from this position. I have to make a note. You might argue that the king can go to d8 instead, but then you play bishop to b5, and when the king moves to c7, it looks like he's escaped the box, but now knight to c4, and the king can't go to any of these two squares, neither the light diagonal, so he has to go on b7, and we are cornering him, and it's very similar to the previous position. Here now check, king moves, and this is something that will repeat itself. Knight attacks that square, f8, right? And you will put the king like this. Try to remember this position. King facing each other, and the knight stopping the king from moving on the side. King has to move. Yeah, I want to stop the king from going to c7. So king to d6. King moved. And now a waiting move most likely, because I don't want to allow the king to go that side. So bishop e6 probably. Let's play this. Yeah? Yeah, king moves. Now I want to reach that position that we reached before, with the knight controlling this square and the kings facing each other. Right, so it's going to be knight c5 and knight b7. Knight moves. Oh, no, that was wrong. That was wrong. Let's go back. Oh, bishop f7 is the move here, yeah. Bishop f7 stops the king from moving on that side. And now I can... Okay, now knight c5 is necessary because the king wants to escape, right? We want to keep him in the edge. So this move, they move there. And now we repeat the usual position with the knight attacking this way and the kings facing each other. So now the king is forced in the edge. Now, I don't want to play this move because king moves out, but if I play king b6, he goes... No, that's fine, because if he plays king c8, I could check him, and he couldn't go anywhere on these two squares. Okay, now it's all about the checkmate. Now here, it's all about stopping the black king from having access to this square. So I'm going to play bishop g6, and then bishop f5. Okay, he moves. Obviously not bishop e6 straight away because of the tempo problem. There's a mate in 3, we gotta figure this out. Okay, I think knight c5, knight a6, and then knight c7. Check, and now check here. Yeah, that's mate.